Let's look at an example here. The example they provide us is about controlling which routes are redistributed, and more importantly, the modification of those routes that are being redistributed. So in this example here, we are only going to redistribute 10.10.11.0/24 and 10.10.12.0/24. So the prefix lists that are created are exact matches. There's no less than or equal to or greater than or equal to operator at the end. We are matching those exact prefix lists or those exact routes. And in this case, it's the same prefix list, PFL1. So top-down processing, we're going to look through it. The first one is 10.10.11.0/24. The next one's 10.10.12.0/24. And then there's the implicit deny all in the prefix list as well. Notice that these are permits. This is the way to keep it simple. If you're defining an access control list that's going to go inside a route map, or you're defining a prefix list that goes inside a route map, you tend to leave them as permits. And the reason why is because it's simpler. And what do I mean simpler? Well, if we are applying this to redistribution, which we are, if we say permit, and then we say match these particular IP addresses in the prefix list, that's permits, we are specifically matching those. We're matching them. We're permitting them. And then from there, we are allowing the actual route map itself, based on its permit or deny statements, to do the redistribution. So we are going to either redistribute these two, because it says permit, or we're either going to deny these two, because it says permit. So we try to keep the logic simple. If all of a sudden you have denies in the prefix list or denies in the access control list, and then you have denies or permits for the route maps, you might end up in a reverse logic where you are permitting a deny, denying or permitting. We don't want to get into that. So we just try to keep it simple, but you can get into that reverse logic if you want to. It's your choice. But I have a tendency to keep it simple, and so do the examples here. So we have our permits, and then we say route map. We call this route map RM_into_OSPF. So this route map is being used during the redistribution process into OSPF. And we're saying permit, so which means we are redistributing. That's what permit means when it's applied to redistribution. And in this case, it's sequence number 10. We're saying match the IP addresses that are found within prefix lists PFL1. So 10.10.11.0/24 and 10.10.12.0/24. We are stating that we are going to set the metric for these to 35. And we're going to set the metric type to E1. We're going to do this with the distribute list option. We didn't have this much control for redistribution. With the distribute list option, we only had the ability to control which routes were redistributed. Now we can control which routes are redistributed, as well as what? Specific characteristics of those routes. Very, very powerful, as you can see. And then we apply it to the redistribute command. Oh, so much simpler. We don't have a distribute list and a redistribute list command. No. Look at this. Right there, distribute list, EIGRP 100, subnets. Well, we're familiar with that so far. And then we say route map. Apply the route map called route map into OSPF.